Tonight on Ramblers Unleashed. 2 weeks in a row? Is Grandpa feeling okay? Ask Baron his opinion of the teams involved in the Fatal 4-Way now that they have all been confirmed. Why is Dizzy my best friend? He's giving me mic time to explain what's wrong with a certain journalist. What does Max have to say about said certain journalist? All of this and more next on Ramblers Unleashed.
Hey all, Baron here. I just want to give you guys a fair warning. There's going to be a lot of foul language on this show tonight. Please bear with us. And if you have the children nearby, time to give them some snacks because it's on. Viewer discretion is advised.
The wrestling podcast that sets all other podcasts apart. Covering news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and more. Your favorite weekly episodic podcast, Ramblers Unleashed, starts now.
So that's the first time I heard that intro. I was actually on the phone when I was recording that intro from Max. So very good. Welcome to your Tuesday Night Delight. It is Ramblers Unleashed back on the air. Boy, we have a lot to dive into. Fellas, we're all here. And I'm happy about that. Welcome to another show. And let's get into the introductions. Let's not waste any time because we got a lot of shit to talk about tonight. First up, the man that is higher than a kite, flown by Tony Khan, our resident happy guy, whose catchphrase is and will always be, Baron, please.
420.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, golfers clap for the one, the only Baron. We have your buzzkill moment coming up later on in the program. Baron, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. And I hope there's nobody on this show that asked me about the Fatal 4-Way that Max mentioned because I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Max, you're muted.
Don't worry about that because we will go over who's in that Fatal 4-Way when we do our picks later tonight because this is the final picks before you guys have to pick one of us for SummerSlam.
Yeah, boy. And let's go ahead and get you next, buddy. Next up, the neighborhood heel with more wrestling knowledge in his pinky finger than Tony Khan could ever muster up with his toy figures. And the only guy that I know that pops bigger for Joel Gertner than any of us. And damn it, Max Magus, you are our wise man. I don't care what anyone else says. J-Bone, you can address him as Mr. Magus, but we can call him the Baron and I. Mighty Maximus Magus. Golfers clap. Max, we will go from the desk of Max Magus later on in the program. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm going to be honest. It's been a really rough week since we last talked. I had to take the car in, but I think this coming Thursday, it'll finally be good to go. I'm happy to be here for the most part. Let's not talk about why I'm not happy to be here, but that's beside the point.
That is beside the point, yeah. Next up, finally, the producer of our show, the man, the myth, the absolute legend, for without his tech wizardry and the gizmos that he brings to the show, plus his vast wrestling knowledge, and, of course, Mrs. J-Bone for gifting us his time to do this show, for without her, he wouldn't be here today. And the host of Smash This Podcast and total nonstop impact with the latest TNA reviews on YouTube over any other podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the great and infamous J-Bone. J-Bone, your nonstop analysis coming up later on in the program. Golfers clap, guys, for J-Bone. I know. There you go. There you go. There you go. J-Bone, how are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good, dude. Yeah, lots of news. Raw was really, I know we're not going to review Raw, but man, Raw was good last night. Holy cow.
Yeah. It's been a while since you've been able to watch Raw live, hasn't it?
Yeah, I usually, even if I don't watch it Raw, I usually do my best to at least see clips like right afterwards, once it hits YouTube and stuff like that. But yeah,
that's awesome stuff. Well, welcome to the show, and we're glad to have you here. Max, I'm going to leave it with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you first to the fifth member of the Ramblers Unleashed crew, because without you guys, there would be no Ramblers. We'd be four guys just sitting around talking about wrestling with each other. And let me tell you, I've talked to these guys in Messenger before. If we didn't have you guys, I'd be so bored all the time. I'm looking at you, Grandpa. So give it up for yourselves for being the fifth member of the Ramblers Unleashed crew.
Golfers
And
clap.
finally,
Well,
And finally-
it shouldn't be boring tonight because Grandpa actually has a cocktail. So
Oh my.
What you got on these
actually,
from
what
chocolate
Grandpa
milk?
needs is edibles.
yeah, chocolate milk on ice. Yeah,
There it is.
Chocolate milk with rum chata, right?
No, it's actually tequila rose on ice.
Ooh, fancy tonight, huh?
J-Bone, put that pinky up, sir.
Well,
Jam.
fancy.
J-Bone
Chocolate milk
gonna
sounds
be
really
passed
good
out
right now,
before
though.
the end of the show.
You might just see very well,
It's
Mike.
gonna be a wild show.
That means all of his picks are going to be either Harley Race or the Fabulous Moolah this year.
Listen here, Goldberg's winning every damn match this weekend. I don't care.
You know what? Hold on just a second, because I have some thoughts on that subject, and we'll get to that later. But first,
Oh, I hope
there is something more important to do before we talk about that guy. Ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, a man who needs no introduction. The man who puts all these stories together. The man without whom we would not have the identity of the Ramblers. We'd just be four guys talking to you on camera. And as I pointed out, that's not where you want us. Ladies and gentlemen, the man with the golden voice. The man who is my best friend. Give it up for Dizzy.
Thank you very much, Max. Thank you very much. Every week we do one of these shows, your intros get better and better. Guys, take notes.
One of these days, I'm just going to surprise you guys, and I'm going to bust out an intro on Dizzy, and everyone's just going to start crying.
Listen, Grandpa, at your age, nothing you do is capable of surprise.
We have a packed show for you tonight. Let's talk Karrion Kross, though. Let's kick it off with him. He is big in the news, man. Proven to be a powerhouse in the WWE. Not only shut up in the ring, but at the merch table, too. According to Russellnomics, Kross's String Them Up shirt is now at the number 2 spot on the merch rankings for June. And Kross apparently outsold some heavy hitters like Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and John Cena as well. There's really no doubt about it, guys. He's growing into popularity amongst fans. And though Jey Uso has claimed the top spot in June as one of WWE's hottest attractions, Kross's merch standings really puts him next to the big guys as both an in-ring competitor and as a marketable figure. Matter of fact, when Kross attacked Sami Zayn on last night's Raw, there was a really loud chant of what J-Bone was just saying. We want Kross from over 10,000 in attendance. And guys, that speaks volume. And the WWE has to pay attention to Kross now.
And I don't know why they haven't for a while now. And now, granted, I don't think the groundswell has been as fast moving as, say, let's just compare it to someone else that's had a really honest to goodness grassroots groundswell from the fan base that wasn't built on anything else than someone just working hard on the mic and in the ring. And that's LA Knight. And it still blows my mind to this day that he is having the popularity swing that he is. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just great to see. I've been a fan of his since he was doing the dummy button in TNA. Yeah.
Right.
And, and it's like, oh my God. And it's just now catching on with fans. And it's like, it's crazy, and now Kross is starting to get that. And I've been a fan of Kross for years, going back to Lucha Underground, pre TNA days. I even had the pleasure of interviewing him on my own channel when he was coming up in the biz. And let me tell you, the guy is great to talk to. He's one of the hardest working guys I've ever seen in the industry. And man, it's just you just look at certain people in the industry and you can kind of compare them to like past icons, not calling Kross iconic yet, but you can compare him to like, doing stuff like Piper did back in the day, where he shoots his mouth off and sometimes he gets himself in a little bit of trouble, but it's always eye catching. Man, it's refreshing to see. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, frankly, I think I've said it on the show for the past few weeks that I felt like WWE was trying to push him, right? Like, I feel like they kind of gave him that nudge that's kind of helped his popularity out, right? With the backstage segments, in ring. I mean, like, WWE has definitely helped push. It's not a fan push by any means, right? And it's good to know that it wasn't just a cool shirt that came out. Because I just looked at it and it looks absolutely fucking awful. I would not spend $50 for it. So it's good. So it's good to see that people are not buying it just because of him, right? Has to be, because this shirt is not appealing at all. It's actually the same exact shirt pretty much the last 3 shirts that came out. But nonetheless, it's good. I think they should have pushed him a lot sooner. Also, I feel like he didn't have much of an identity back then, so it makes more sense now. And he's playing that rugged, badass kind of guy now, as he should have been. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. I've been preaching it on the show for a while now. They should be pushing him. He should be pushed. He's got the look. He could definitely use a little bit of work, like on the mic and whatnot. But he's got Scarlett too, so that helps his case. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the push. I hope they do justice by this and not run it.
Yeah.
And listen, I just want to say something on this topic. Present company excluded, and I mean even our people over here, the 5th member of Ramblers Unleashed. You all don't know what you're getting yourself into. Believe me, you don't want Kross, because when you get Kross, when you get Killer Kross, because that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
You're going to get on the internet and you're going to complain. I've seen you do it every single time you've been out there chanting, "We want this," or you've been online going, "We want this." The only person I have to worry about that with here is the guy sitting right there below me. The rest of the people in this conversation right now, the ones that I'm on camera with, and the people over here in the chat, you guys actually are looking forward to the Killer Kross that we are about to get. But believe me, when it happens, I don't want to hear any complaints out of you people that are not part of this right now, because I know it's going to happen and I'm not listening to it. You guys, he deserves better than what you're about to do to him. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
I think after the WrestleMania thing, that really blew his popularity out of the water. Like, the promo that he cut was just, I mean, it really was kind of a shoot, and it really just helped him, because it just kind of, it showed the frustration in sort of a work type of way, but it really did feel like a shoot, and it really kind of told you what kind of worker Kross could be, man. I mean, he is up there with Piper. I really do think that he is up there when it comes to promos. He's up there with Piper, because I haven't heard a promo cut like that in a long time. And every time dude gets on the mic, it's just really, I don't know, it's like he captivates you, man. But question of the night: are you over on Karrion Kross? Let us know in the chat, and we love to hear from you. Let's go to the desk of Max Mages, thanks to RingsideNews.com. And Pat McAfee's seat has noticeably been missing on the Raw commentary desk for 5 straight weeks, and now it might stay that way a little bit longer. Speaking on a recent episode of the Pat McAfee Show, the former NFL punter turned WWE commentator opened up about why he's been off of WWE television after balancing ESPN's College Game Day and WWE's intense schedule. McAfee admitted that he just needed a break. He said, quote, "continuing to just kind of catch up on life as a whole. I was getting pretty exhausted there. So shout out to everybody at the WWE looking out for me too. Very, very thankful," end quote. The message was clear. McAfee's absence, Max, is more about protecting his well-being than any behind-the-scenes drama. But with his calendar already packed heading into another demanding football season, we really shouldn't expect him back on Monday nights anytime soon. But not only is Pat on WWE programming, of course he's got his own show on ESPN, so scheduling conflicts are a big factor in why he's gone too. But history also suggests that this break, Max, could be for months. Pat McAfee stepped away from the WWE before to focus on his ESPN work, particularly during the college football season. With that set to begin on August 30th, it's likely McAfee won't be seen regularly on Monday Night Raw until early 2026. Max, I'm kind of enjoying Corey Graves. I don't know about you.
Listen, I'm a huge fan of Corey Graves, have been for a while. It sucks that he got pulled from an in-ring career when he did, but we have benefited from that. And I know there's people out there that are going to disagree with this. Corey Graves is amazing as a commentator. I love listening to him. And listen, if you want to know how good of a commentator he really is, look no further than Worlds Collide. And I'm going to be honest with you, Conan is, I have no ill will towards Conan. Let me be clear about that. But to sit through Conan telling those stories takes a lot of patience and a lot of understanding when you are the color commentator. And shout out to Corey for displaying that professionalism. And thank you to Conan for the stories, because I thought they were amazing. But if I'd been sitting next to you, I'm not sure I would have had the same patience level as Corey. And I think that just goes to show how good he is at what he does. Mm-hmm. I am grateful to have him on Raw for the time being. And McAfee, I you know what? I get it. You're a busy guy. There's a lot going on. You've got your show. You've got wrestling stuff that you've been doing, not just Raw, but you show up for PLEs and for the pre-show press conference stuff. You have been running yourself ragged, and I appreciate what you've done. I will not speak for anybody else. I personally appreciate what you have done, and I know that it takes a toll after a while. Please take the downtime you need. We will be here waiting when you come back. Let's go.
Yeah. While Pat's gone, I'm really, really kind of enjoying Corey Graves, although Pat's kind of growing on me too. I can't say much about that.
So. That's a different energy, right? Like, he's a totally different energy than we've had as commentary. But it's good energy. It makes the color commentary, like, everything flow well, and it's like interesting, and I don't know. It's just something like they haven't had in a while behind the booth, right?
It is.
So, yeah. And him and Cole connect so well together that their back and forth is perfect. So yeah, definitely take the time needed, and we look forward to you to come back. But yeah, I think he's great, man. I love Pat McAfee. I think he's always been good, and he takes bumps in the ring. He's not a wrestler, guys. I know. Like he's doing shit in the ring pretty good too.
Dude, I know. I'm pleasantly surprised with what Pat's been doing on the show, man. It's been surprising me. But Baron, let's move on to your buzzkill moment, thanks to ringsidenews.com. And this one is about Goldberg. Certainly been hyping up that match between Goldberg and Gunther on Saturday night's main event. And Gunther put his WWE World Heavyweight Championship on the line against Goldberg at SNME this weekend. And fans in Providence were treated to a short promo from the ring general, but then was joined by the Hall of Famer. Goldberg came out, first arriving backstage in a car. Then the Goldberg chants were heard in the arena, but nobody that they showed on the screen was chanting except for one kid that I saw. That was an obvious instance of WWE piping in the Goldberg chants, which they've done in the past, but Saturday night's main event will go down on July 11th in Atlanta, Georgia. This will be Goldberg's last ride, but Gunther is determined not to make it an easy one for him, and we'll have to see what kind of reception Goldberg receives at the big event, but WWE will likely have chants in the can just in case they need to break out the piped-in response. But Baron, did you see that one kid in the audience chanting Goldberg?
Yeah, I think that was you, Dizzy.
Yeah, shut up. Shut up.
No. You guys know my opinion on the Goldberg.
Your favorite.
Fuck the Goldberg. I think he's the most... Yep. Actually, mark my word. It's a close battle here, but he is the most overrated wrestler personality of all time.
He took down the champ in one punch. How could you say that?
And never forget the fact that this man injured Bret Hart.
I will never forget that either.
Absolutely.
No, Always remember, Bret Hart screwed Bret Hart.
Bret Hart screwed Bret Hart. Yeah, not on this one. But
Yeah, not on this one.
not on this one.
Not
But
on
he
this
did
one,
before.
dude.
Yes, he did. But man, I just don't care. And you know what makes this worse? You guys know I've been pretty vocal about Jey Uso, right?
Yeah.
I knew his run was gonna come to a crushing halt. I seen it from day one. I knew what was happening. He's that guy, just like Kofi Kingston, or I'm trying to think of another wrestler who's got the pop, who's got the reaction, who does well in the ring, gets the crowd behind him, carries the belt for a short period of time, just to rip it off of him because Goldberg, right? Like that's the only reason he probably lost that belt. They had to put it on someone to go against Goldberg. They knew this, and so I think that's the worst part of all this. And like in 2025, who gives a fuck about seeing Goldberg in his last match? Anybody? Does anybody care? Of course, Jay Bone would care. He probably bought the action figure this week. No, nobody does. This is why it's on Saturday's main event and not a PLE, because
there is going to be a panel back here somewhere dedicated to the icon Goldberg.
No. Don't you do that. The icon is Sting. Never, ever apply that to Goldberg.
Yes.
Well, there's lots of icons. There's Hogan.
And
there's Mercedes.
you know what?
Moné,
And you know what?
I'm spiraling. My hand is shaking.
Listen,
It won't stop. Help.
I blame people like you, J-Bone, for the fact that Goldberg is who he is today. If it hadn't been for people like you overinflating that ego of his back in his WCW days, we wouldn't be having this retirement match. The man should never have gone undefeated. He was not good enough in the ring. He was a powerhouse, sure, but the man had no in-ring ability when they were like, you know what? Let's just make this guy undefeated for like 500 matches. And you're right. It's a lot like She Who Shall Not Be Named. She doesn't deserve the push she's getting. Neither did Goldberg.
Yeah.
Well, let's not get too crazy with that statement there. I mean, Goldberg is no. Mercedes at least has some talent in the ring for the most part versus. Oh yeah, she does compared to Goldberg. Come on, that's not even on the same playing field here.
But have you seen her lately?
I sure have. I mean,
yeah,
I would watch her match 100 times over Goldberg.
Her arms are getting pretty buff holding up all those belts. I tell you that.
God,
you know what would be cool if this Saturday Goldberg doesn't show up and Gilbert shows up and takes his place. That would be the best thing that's happened.
That would be better than the match we're gonna get. Honestly,
yeah, and it's really bad that his retirement match is going to be at Saturday night main event. Like that is, guys, that's not a PLE.
What's interesting,
it's not a PLE, but it's I don't know. It's weird.
What's interesting is that it's against Gunther, and I'm fine that it's against Gunther, but it's the fact that Gunther has the world title, and so I don't know why they would put him up against a guy that has a championship. I would rather see him go up against, say, an up-and-comer like Braun Breaker or something like that. That's just me. I mean, I'm still excited about it, but that's just me. I mean, would that make you guys feel better about it or not?
No, it would still make me want to vomit all over the place. But it did when this started, because Goldberg was in the crowd during this period of time. Gunther was in the ring. We're talking months and months ago, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he poked at his kid and poked at him. Was he the champion then? I want to say he was.
It was prior to Jay winning at Mania. That's how far back it goes.
Yeah, so he was a champion at that point in time. So maybe that's why they put the belt back on him. I don't remember what was stated in that ring at that time. But nonetheless, I think I just don't care. I just don't care. I hope Gunther beats him in 5 seconds flat. I hope it's a squash.
Apparently that was at Bad Blood, actually, last October.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that does go back. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of fits, though. I mean, as old as Goldberg is, you needed a really slow build-up to get us there so that he could stay caught up with everything that was going on.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a huge fan of Gunther, and I know Gunther is going to expose how bad of a wrestler Goldberg really is. But if you had put him in there with Braun Breaker, Goldberg wouldn't just be retiring after this weekend, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Well, Gunther's going to work with him. He's that kind of guy. I mean, yeah, he could run circles around him on paper, but Gunther's a professional, and he's not.
That's not what I said. I agree. Gunther is a professional. Gunther, though, because of how good Gunther is and how bad Goldberg really is, you're going to see it this weekend.
Well, that's
Guaranteed.
already happened. That happened overseas when Goldberg wrestled Taker, and they had that stinker of a match, unfortunately. So
Fuck, I don't even remember that. When was that?
that was in Saudi Arabia like 2 years ago, two or 3 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about a name that we haven't heard in a while, and that's Steve Blackman, famously known as the Lethal Weapon. During his
half of the cheeseheads.
During his memorable WWE run, he parted ways with the company back in 2002. It's been many years since fans last saw him in WWE, and now he's addressed the possibility of maybe returning. While speaking to Chris Van Vliet, Steve Blackman was asked about the idea of making a return to the WWE. He said he hasn't actually discussed it with anyone, and it's not something he's brought up. However, Blackman admitted there have been moments where he's thought that it would be fun to go back, possibly have a hardcore match just to get back into the flow of things for the experience. Even then, it's been close to 20 years since he last did it, and despite those passing thoughts, he hasn't had any conversations with anyone about coming back. But Steve Blackman was last seen on WWE television during the Raw 15th anniversary special on December 10th, 2007, where he competed in a battle royal and he was eliminated by Flash Funk, which I don't even remember who the fuck Flash Funk is.
What?
You don't remember Too Cold Scorpio?
It's Too Cold Scorpio, yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. I didn't know him by Flash Funk.
See, I didn't either. I didn't either, so don't feel bad.
What? Really? Oh, yeah. Flash Funk was great.
But Steve really isn't.
I got you, best friend.
I appreciate that. Steve isn't trying to make a WWE comeback. He's just curious about stepping back into the ring, especially for a hardcore match that fits him. But do you think that Max will see the Lethal Weapon back in WWE?
Okay.
The Lethal Weapon. You say that, and I just laugh.
First off, it would be a great nostalgia moment if he popped up. And I can't deny the man has some fighting ability. That doesn't always translate to in-ring ability, but we're not going to discuss that. The man has some fighting ability, and even at his age, I'm pretty sure that he could whoop Grandpa's ass without breaking a sweat. But that's beside the point. The thing about it is, though, I'm not sure if it's a good idea for him to step in the ring. Listen, I think it's amazing that Mae Young wrestled in 8 different decades. That's amazing. Do I think it should have happened? Not a chance. At that age, you got to be more careful with your body. And listen, maybe Blackman can do it, maybe he can't. But I think we should have him show up as a special appearance, and that's it. I don't think he should be getting in the ring.
Oh, I tell you what, though, just to turn the page just for a second, we can jump right back into the Blackman conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to make an announcement right here on the podcast. From now on, this is how I'm dressing for the podcast. I love this. Look at this.
Oh, fuck.
Flash.
Look at that. That is PIMP pimping.
I can see you in that.
I think
Thank you.
Many of those drinks. J-Bone, you've had one too many of those drinks. I'm going to need you to slow down, sir.
Right?
Oh, it's so yummy, though. I know it's going to hit me later.
Hey, listen, because you brought it up, let me ask you this, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Without looking it up, do you remember who he faced in his Raw debut all the way back in 1996.
Rob Van Dam.
Nope.
He just pulled that. He just pulled a name right out of his head.
The Goon.
The only reason why I said
Yes.
what?
Bill Irwin, right?
Oh, right.
Or whatever.
Who?
It was
Bill
the
Irwin.
Goon.
Oh, geez.
He
The only
faced
reason
off
why I
against the
said-
hockey punk, the Goon.
The only reason why I said Rob Van Dam is because at the time, prior to the buyout of ECW, Rob Van Dam and Flash Funk, or Too Cold Scorpio, were both, I don't know if they were the only ones or two of a few ones that were going back and forth between ECW and WWF at the time, because they had, kind of like what TNA is doing now, same but different, I don't know if you guys remember.
Baron,
I
follow-up
do.
question.
Like, I know what you're saying, but I think he was in ECW for a very short period of time in the beginning, and then went to WWF and was Flash Funk for a short period of time. Yeah.
All right, Baron, for you, follow-up question. The Funkettes or the Funkadactyls?
Not the Funkadactyls.
Oh,
Never the Funkadactyls. I almost said, them, and I realized, no,
come on.
absolutely not.
Anybody would be
Fuck is on a roll. Fuck is
No.
on a roll.
anybody would be smart to not pick the fucking Funkadactyls. Jesus,
That
Christ.
was
That was pretty rough.
that was a rough period of wrestling.
That was pretty fucking rough.
I would like to say that I would take Cameron over the other Funkadactyl any day of the week.
Yeah.
Trivia question: who's the hip hop hippo?
Fuck off with the hip hop hippo.
Come on.
Oh my god.
That's Prince Albert.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What? When was that? What was
Head-
that?
Yeah, McNoll.
Current head coach of NXT.
It's when he was with. Wasn't he with Too Cool at that time, or who was that? Yeah,
That was when he was gone for a while to New Japan, and he came back as Tensai, and then
I remember that. Yes.
I remember him as Tensai. I do remember him as.
That was another embarrassing time of wrestling.
Yeah, no shit.
And it was while he was teaming with Scotty Too Hottie.
Yeah. There's. I don't know what the fuck is up with people. What is in the water that people are drinking? But for that, whatever they're doing, for them to think that anything that like breaking into homes and shit and stalking people is cool, you just need to stop. The Southern California home of Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins was reportedly burglarized on Tuesday. The LAPD said they responded to a burglary call at their home at 2:38 a.m. The residents weren't home at the time, and the suspects fled before officers arrived on the scene. It's not clear what items were taken, but a burglary report was made. Now, TMZ reports that burglars broke into the couple's beach home through a rear sliding glass door, taking an undisclosed amount of cash. But the LAPD couldn't confirm that information, so we don't know if it's true. We're just happy that Seth and Becky are safe. Can we all just agree, please, to leave these fucking wrestlers alone? First, I think it was Asuka that was being stalked. Then it was Liv Morgan, and now it's Becky and Seth. What the fuck, dude?
Well, the worst thing is that, I mean, they have a young child. That makes it even worse, right?
Yeah.
But it's just so. They almost have to know when these wrestlers aren't home.
Well, yeah,
Because this person that would break into the home, and Seth Rollins met face to face with him would probably destroy this human being, right?
yeah.
It's just or Becky would even, right? Like, it's
Shit,
just
at this point, Rue might.
yeah. But it's not even like these people are like going into they're wrestling fans, right? They're breaking into these homes.
See,
They're probably stalkers, and it's just crazy to me that everybody's information is so fucking easy to get on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though, because I am 100% on board with this whole. These people need to stop stalking people, and I don't just mean wrestlers. I mean, in general, people need to stop stalking people.
Yeah, no shit.
But I would like to say that from the stories that I have seen on the break-in, at Seth and Becky's home, there is nothing right now that leads me to believe that it was necessarily a wrestling fan or somebody specifically there for Seth and Becky.
Right.
This sounds like it may have been, and
Just random.
There may be more evidence that hasn't been presented yet that shows that it was someone there specifically because it was Seth and Becky. But right now, it sounds like a random robbery. But still, come on, people, do better. I know that you're desperate, but that's not going to help you. That's just going to get you in trouble.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just stupid. Don't do that shit. We still have a lot of predictions to go, so let's move right along into some AEW news. Oh, I'm sorry. No, we have one more story on WWE, and that is Evolution 2, which we are getting ready to predict soon. The WWE's return of the all-women's Evolution event really isn't going off with a strong start when it comes to ticket sales, and the numbers are raising concerns just days out from the show. Russell Tix posted an update on July 4th that painted a clear picture of how the upcoming weekend at Atlanta State Farm Arena is shaping up. So Saturday night's main event scheduled for the 12th, featuring Bill Goldberg against Gunther, and it's already closing in on a sellout. Now, a total of 10,731 tickets have been distributed for Saturday night's main event, with only 1,784 tickets remaining as of today, as far as we know. Now, the situation for Evolution happening the next night on the 13th, it's a little bit different. Only 4,804 tickets have been distributed so far, with 1,578 tickets still available. But the cheapest seats for Evolution are priced at $56.75, and that is significantly lower than Saturday night's main event, where standard admission starts at $103.35, which is insanely lower than what any other PLE is costing. And I just want to know why the women's PLE is so cheap compared to the others like WrestleMania or SummerSlam PLEs, or even like the lower card PLEs, not necessarily like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, but like Bad Blood or Backlash or anything like that. I mean, I wish Baron was here. I forgot what he paid for his Backlash tickets, but Max, that is just stupid.
Well, I'll be honest with you. First off, I don't think TKO has quite the same level of control over Evolution as they do over the rest of the PLEs. And it's weird that this one hasn't sold as many tickets, and that might be because of how long it took to announce the matches. But personally, out of the entire weekend, I sent you guys the cards for Great American Bash, Saturday night's main event, and Evolution 2. And I'm going to be honest with you, looking over the cards, the one I'm most excited about is Evolution 2. I mean, there's some great talent on the NXT Great American Bash card. There could be great talent on Saturday night's main event, but then you had to go and screw it up by putting that old guy on there that doesn't need to be in the ring again. The Evolution 2 card has some amazing matches. You have some great matchups. I mean, Nikki Bella is making her return. You have the Fatal 4-Way that Baron does not want mentioned. I mean, you've got a great card lined up for Evolution 2. Get out there and buy the tickets, guys, especially if it's cheaper than Mania.
Now, Baron, how much did you pay for your Backlash tickets, if I can ask?
How much did I pay for Backlash tickets?
Yeah. If I can ask.
Like $800, bro.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Tickets for Evolution are priced at $56.75, and Saturday night's main event is their standard admission is $103.35. Compared to your 800 is fucking stupid.
Well, I mean that was for 2 tickets, right? That wasn't per person that I paid. Man, actually we paid more than 800. Now I'm thinking about it. It was 1,000.
God.
But you got to remember, I'm on the ground floor, like 10 rows back type of deal, right? So we're down there, so it's understandable. Was it way too expensive? Yes, but like those prices that you're mentioning, that's not expensive at all. I might have missed it, but are we?
No, but what I'm saying is the way that they gauge prices from what a PLE to Saturday night's main event, which technically is kind of considered a premium live event, even though it's on NBC, but also Evolution 2, which should be valued much higher.
Well, I mean, it's a yeah. Well, not to get super weird about it, but like it's a, it's a women's show, and there's people that don't take that gender to a high, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a sexist bullshit kind of thing that I don't want to get into, guys. But
that's how it's always been. It's like they've always overlooked, even when Vince was in control. They've always overlooked the women, and I think it's complete bullshit.
Especially when Vince was in control. It's gotten a little bit better. I would say it's gotten a lot better. Yeah. It's not perfect by any means. No, they still complain about, short matches here and there. But if you look at what kind of women they've hired and who they're featuring across main roster and NXT brands, it's changed. There's a significant change in the talent and the amount of attention that they're showing the talent.
Yeah, it has. And I just wish that we can I know that Evolution was created to highlight the women in the WWE, but why can't we give them the same amount of praise and amount of respect that we show for others?
No, I agree.
That we go to see and pay an enormous amount of money to go watch these PLEs. It just bugs me. It just bugs the hell out of me.
Yeah, and to go back what you're trying to say here, it's like it doesn't make any sense, right? Like I'm not sure how they're engaging it. I could tell you John Cena is probably not at Evolution. Is he on Saturday's main event? No. That right there alone skyrockets the tickets because you got to pay that man's salary, right. And I assure you, it's higher salary than every single person on that roster, right? By a large margin.
There's no Roman, there's no John, there's no Cody. There's no Cody.
No Cody.
No. So that's probably why. It's just should be enough reason why everybody should be going to these events to go see good wrestling, right?
I don't know if you want to know this. I looked it up for you, but I don't think you want to know it.
Go ahead.
Shoot it.
In 2025, John Cena's salary from WWE is reported to be $12 million annually.
Jesus Christ.
In addition to earnings from acting and endorsements, his total net worth in 2025 is estimated at $80 million, according to Sports Illustrated and other sources, due to his diverse income streams.
So you're saying $12 million annually with this run with WWE?
The way it looks like it means like for this year with the WWE, he's getting $12 million for this year's run.
It makes sense. That's a large. He's a big fucking movie star.
How does a guy eat? How do you eat on that salary? I know. Poor guy's probably eating tuna and rice.
Wherever
guy. Well, if you ever watched the fucking Bella show, he wasn't eating anything.
This man could walk into a reservations only restaurant, place where you don't get a table if you didn't make reservations, and not only will he have been fed, he will have tipped them very well and be out the door before most of the people waiting on the reservations.
Yeah, right. There's a lot to be said about that salary. Is that a lot? Absolutely. But I know some other celebrities that are getting paid probably quadruple that and not as worthy. And I know he's given some back, and I know he does great things for Make-A-Wish. So that right there is a prime example why Backlash was so fucking expensive in every single other event he's at, because it is John Cena.
Well, they got to pay for all those new T-shirts he comes out with every single week.
Hey, I got one, goddammit. I got the St. Louis one.
I'm a little disappointed.
I got a small version of it.
I'm a little disappointed. A couple months ago, I was like, you know what? I wouldn't mind a new John Cena shirt. Is the farewell tour coming through Denver? So I looked it up. Kinda. He was at Fan Expo this past weekend, which, of course, I knew I was dealing with other stuff, and so Fan Expo was not on my list to buy tickets for. But I would like a Denver farewell tour t-shirt. So if you guys at the WWE are listening, please make one so I can buy it.
Yeah, totally.
There you go.
Let's move on to some AEW news and weeks of speculation. I know, weeks of speculation about Britt Baker's AEW future just got addressed directly by Tony Khan. And it sounds like the conversation about her leaving might have been exaggerated from the start. So during the 2025 AEW All-In media call, Rick Ucchino asked Khan about conflicting reports regarding whether Baker wants out of the company. Khan said he has never had that conversation with her about wanting to leave AEW. He also made it clear that he likes Baker and values what she brings to the company. Khan pointed out that the company has a limited number of spots available on its weekly programming compared to its sports roster. He explained that while professional wrestling allows some flexibility, AEW avoids trying to cram too many talents into their shows just to give everyone screen time, which is stupid as fuck for him to say that because it's a lie. But anyway, he noted that AEW has talented people on their bench who can be brought in when the time is right, and use the sports comparison again, describing, like making substitutions. In Baker's case, Khan said when AEW plans to use her is when the time is right, quote unquote. This update matches what was recently reported that Britt is still under AEW contract and is not actively looking to leave. In fact, due to injury time, her current deal could reportedly extend to 2027. And there were previous creative discussions about Baker having a major match, a Double or Nothing, but it's unclear whether that ever reached her. So Sean Ross Sapp actually speculated that her return could happen at AEW All in Texas, possibly in the Casino Gauntlet match, but nothing yet is confirmed. Between Khan's public remarks and the latest contract insight, the message is clear. Britt isn't leaving AEW anytime soon, and her return is just a matter of timing, and it's not tension. But I wonder if they're just waiting to bring Britt back to TV, or they're just building up anticipation because they know fans want to see her. I don't like that line that what he said. Let me go back to what he said.
That's what he said
about trying to cram too many talents into their shows to give everyone screen time. That is a load of shit.
Okay, but here's my problem with this, okay? Because you do cram people in. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you have a lot of people showing up in a bunch of segments on the show, but that's beside the point. Someone as talented as Britt Baker, to put her on the bench because you don't want to cram people in, let me tell you something. You're giving She Who Shall Not Be Named the TV time. Why not Britt Baker? Even if you're not putting Britt in a title picture, that is a highly talented wrestler. She deserves the TV time. Bring her back or let her go.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way,
I agree.
I think she should be getting time served for being benched while she's not injured.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the one that shall not be named. And she made some headlines when she told TMZ Sports on June 29th of 2024 that she had creative control in AEW and worked closely with Tony Khan at the time. Monet described the dynamic as a strong partnership, saying she had creative freedom but collaborated directly with Khan. However, during the July 8th, 2025 AEW All-In Media call, Tony Khan publicly refuted that claim, guys. So when asked by Sean Ross Sapp if Monet had creative control and calls her own shots in AEW, Khan responded that this was definitely not true at all. He acknowledged Monet's importance to the company and praised her work, but it made it clear that he is the only person with creative control in AEW.
Oh, there you go.
Khan says the company is the most focused it has been in years, partly because he's no longer listening to as many outside voices. Well, then that's part of the problem. While he confirmed that he meets with Monet and Tony Storm at least once a week and that Jennifer Pepperman is involved in Monet's presentation, he made it clear, he made sure to clarify that he has the final say on everything. RJ City also assists in the creative process, but ultimately authority rests solely with Khan. This stands in contrast to Monet's own comments just over a year ago, where she suggested, kind of like Hogan, she had significant influence over her own creative direction. But while AEW clearly encourages collaboration, Khan's comments firmly reestablish who is running the show. So who's lying here, guys? I'm gonna give it to the Baron. And who's lying?
The coke addict. He lying. I mean, like, honestly though, like, I bet you she does have a lot to say, right? I bet you Young Bucks have a lot to say. I bet you MJF has a lot to say. I bet you they all have a lot to say. And it works, but they are not. This is what happens when you're a billionaire. This is what happens when you own a company. You get the final stamp on everything, right? So you take whatever they say and you twist it as your own creativity, right? I guarantee you that's the type of stuff that's happening over there. Because like they're not the AEW is not far off from doing great things. They have a lot of like good ideas that could work in a different direction, and I think that's where Tony Khan gets involved and kind of ruins it, right? Like there's good concepts of ideas.
Well, it's because the talent's there too. It's they have an insane amount of talent. It's just what you do with it, right?
Right. I think it's clear as day that nobody knows what's going on over there. I think Mercedes has plenty of say what's going on over there, and I just think Tony's doesn't want it to seem like he's not running the show. He has this ego trip.
Right. He doesn't want to make it sound like he's not in control of his own company. So he's going to refute that stuff. I mean, in another line of questioning, would he agree with that to a certain point? Absolutely. But this is a thing where he's probably was caught off guard by it and was probably like, oh, no, wait, no, it's all me.
Well,
but that's him.
Max, why did it take him a year to say these exact words that Monet has no creative control over her own destiny in AEW?
Because he had so much cocaine that he just realized she said it.
Well,
look, here's the thing. Okay, you wanted to know who was lying, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he's lying, but I don't think he realizes he's lying. I think he thinks that he just gives her some input, and she gives the input, and then he goes, "Yeah, let's do that." But I think that she has full creative control, despite what Khan is saying. And I think that's evident in the fact that she currently holds 6 title belts.
Exactly.
Now, if you Google it, you're going to get 2 different answers. The AI is going to tell you 5, but then you're going to see a thing for championship history that says she has 6 title belts because she just won the one at AEW Grand Slam Mexico for the CMLL Women's World Championship.
Exactly.
But here's the thing, okay, and I'm not going to debate with you whether she has any in-ring talent or not. I'm going to pose one question. Is she anywhere near on the same level as Ultimo Dragon? Because if your answer to that is yes, I'm going to tell you you're lying, first off. If your answer to that question is no, then there's no reason for her to have this many titles. There's no reason for the fact that she is probably going to have a 7th one come this weekend. And listen, I've said this before. I'll say it again. Tony, you need help with the booking. Call me. and I'm going to help you. But the first thing we're going to do is divest her of most of those belts. I'll tell you what, you want to leave her with 2? I'll leave her with 2. But those belts are going to go places they belong. Britt Baker will probably get 1. I will probably have you put Athena into a match to get 1. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be honest with you, there are talented women that deserve those titles, and you're leaving them all on one person.
And
why is that?
I thought Athena was champ.
I don't care if she is champ or not.
I'm going
to have her take 1 away from She Who Shall Not Be Named.
But that would break her down, and really just like she's right here in her heel game. If she loses all those titles, she gets knocked down peg by peg by peg, and you never know, we might see a face Mercedes Moné.
You want to know what I would do then?
And then you would love her. You'd love her so much.
She currently has 6 titles. Let's not let her win the one this weekend. All right. Mm-hmm. Then let's do a fatal 4-way. You know what? We'll start with that. Let's do a fatal 4-way. You win a belt, you leave the match because now you have a title. You know, all of her belts are on the line. So one person wins a title and leaves with that. Now we're down to a triple threat. The next person wins a title. You don't even have to pin her for this. The final pin goes to her. She retains whatever's left, and that's it. And you've done it without taking away from her in-ring ability.
Yeah. Well, I think somebody's lying. I think a little bit of them both are lying. I think Mercedes Moné and I think Tony Khan lying out of their ass. And you can clearly see that someone has creative control over Mercedes Moné, or else she wouldn't have fucking 6 titles. But I digress. It doesn't look good for her to have that many damn titles. It makes her look stupid, in my opinion. Even as a heel, it makes her look dumb, right? I just don't, and it kind of confuses me that it's like, God, how many fucking titles is she going to win? Is she going to just come out with this?
You know what's
title?
Her having 16 to 20 fucking titles is actually the least of my concerns of her. Like I just don't, like her in-ring ability, her mic work is just
I don't
terrible. I like that idea. If it worked on someone that actually made me believe that she was a fighting and wonderful champion, I like that idea. Have that person walk out with 6 titles. Why not? Mm-hmm. She's just unfortunately not that person. Now, if you did that same exact thing with someone like
Alexa Bliss,
nah, I wouldn't believe that either. Jordan Grace, I would believe that. This is just hard for me to believe with this said character.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just over her. I'm over all of it. So did your Alexa?
I thought I heard somebody talking about. I'm like, yeah. What the hell?
I named one of my favorite wrestlers, and you're still listening to me. Good job, Echo. And so all of a sudden, my Echo went searching for Bliss, and I'm like, hold on. So this is what she caught from me talking. I named one of my favorite wrestlers, and you're still listening. She goes, a wrestling fan. Bliss must be Alexa Bliss. She's quite the superstar in the ring. Yes, she is.
Wow.
Nice. Well,
Echo is smart. Hey, ask, you know what, just for shits and giggles, Max, I know you're going to kill me, but whatever. Ask your Echo about Mercedes Moné.
Do it. Go ahead.
Come on.
What am I asking?
No, just say, have you heard of Mercedes Moné?
Let me turn the volume back up. Alexa, have you heard of Mercedes Moné?
Yes, I've heard of Mercedes Moné. She's a prominent professional wrestler currently competing in All Elite Wrestling, where she's the reigning AOTBS champion.
Oh, she only clarifies one title.
Well, in simple terms, yes.
So in Max's Alexa world, She's only got one title, which I'm cool with.
Yeah, let's run with that for every show going forward between the four of us.
Right.
Max Alexa has said Mercedes has one title. That's the only one we recognize. And what
I
was
will
it? I don't even remember
acknowledge
what it was. What was the title?
The AEW TBS Championship.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Well, there you go.
Let's move on to some TNA news and J-Bone's professional podcasting
Oh
opinion.
shit!
This is
This is smoke break for the rest of us.
huge. TNA is going all in on its next evolution, and that includes going live every single week. So, according to Anthem Sports Group President Carlos Silva, J-Bone, the company is actively negotiating a new media rights deal that would allow Impact to broadcast live 52 weeks a year, a major shift in production that could elevate the promotion to the next level. In an interview with JohnWallStreet.com, Silva laid it all out. He said, quote, a new media rights deal would provide us the opportunity to go live 52 weeks a year. And in today's world, live matters. He said, right now, TNA hits around 100,000 household viewers with the show. It airs live on Access TV. But Silva believes that with the right platform, those numbers could jump big time. A weekly number between 250 to 500,000 in terms of Nielsen-esque P2 plus households is perfectly realistic on a network in 40 or 50 million homes, he says. And TNA isn't aiming small. Silva confirmed that the promotion is seeking a deal in the 10 million per year. Jesus Christ, I can't talk.
Timmy!
Adding that talks are underway with the established linear guys and a couple of newer platforms that need foundational programming centerpieces, he said. So this new push comes on the heels of TNA's growing partnership with WWE since Jordan Gray stepped through the forbidden door to appear in the Royal Rumble later on to compete in NXT. TNA has been in a serious visibility boost, and that boost has sparked a lot of rumors, with even Uncle Dave reporting that WWE is supporting TNA filling certain international rights slots vacated after its Netflix deal. Meltzer also noted that there are people in the business who believe WWE could eventually acquire TNA outright. Now, meanwhile, TNA's next major show is Slammiversary. Goes down on Sunday, July 20th at the UBS Arena in Long Island, New York. And as of the 5th of July, Russell Tix reports over 3,500 tickets distributed. The main event sees Moose defending the TNA World Championship against Josh Alexander, while Mustafa Ali puts the X Division title on the line against Ace Austin. Is that right?
That's not even close.
Yes, I didn't think so. Yeah.
No, number one, Ace Austin isn't even with the company. Number two, Josh Alexander isn't with the company.
This is wrong.
Jiminy Christmas.
I don't
No.
know where this came from.
Moose
from Ringside News, I tell you that.
Moose is, dear Lord. Well, it's a good thing you got me, because otherwise, you know, God, not to toot my own horn, but damn. No, Leon Slater is going to face Moose for the X Division title. And then what was the other one you said?
So Josh Alexander and Moose against the Moose defends the TNA World Championship against Josh Alexander, which he's on AEW. And Mustafa Ali puts the X Division title on the line against Ace Austin. That's all that I had there. And I don't know where I got that from.
You know what? I think that was actually last year.
Was that last year? Okay.
That was last year. So they probably typed in the wrong year, and that was the first thing that popped up.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I guess
Trick Williams is facing off against Joe Hendry. Mike Santana for the world title. Moose actually has the X Division championship, not the world title, and he's defending against Leon Slater. But there's a ton more on there that's going to have people's eyes on. Yeah, it's great to see. I don't know what channel is going to help boost them to that point. I think anything would at this point. It's look, Access TV has been a great partner, but they're just not in people's homes.
Right.
It's not one of those channels. It's not a go-to channel. You
Well,
need
it's-
something like a USA or a Sci-Fi or a CW or something or a TNT. And not, I'm just saying.
Access is also one of those networks that you have to buy on a separate package, like on
Correct.
DirecTV or something like that. So
Right.
not a lot of people are going to buy that package, whatever that falls on.
Right.
I have the full list if you guys want it.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked about Trick, Joe, and Santana. We talked about Moose versus Leon Slater. Then we have the Nemesis versus the Hardys versus the Rascals versus First Class in a 4-way tag team ladder match for the TNA World Tag Team Championship.
That's going to be nuts.
We have Tessa versus Indy Hartwell, Mustafa Ali versus Cedric Alexander, Ash and Heather of Elegance or by Elegance with M by Elegance and the Personal Concierge taking on the Inspiration. And then Masha will be defending her title. It's a title versus title match. Masha versus JC Jane or Jordan Grace.
Right, because Jordan Grace is facing JC Jane this weekend. So whoever's the winner in that is going to face
go on to
Masha
face.
at Slammiversary, and both titles are going to be on the line. So either JC Jane or Masha is going to walk out 2 titles.
Are you sure it's going to be JC? Because I'm not sure of that.
No,
yet.
I didn't. No, I'm not saying which one it's going to be. I'm just saying it's either going to be JC Jane or Jordan Grace. They're facing off this weekend, and Masha will face the winner of those 2.
Right. I just
Right.
wanted to clarify because you said either Masha or JC is walking out with 2 titles, and I'm like,
Oh no, Masha.
Is this like when the WWE accidentally told everybody that Vikingo was winning the title from Del Rio before it happened? Because
I tell you what, I mean, it's too soon. We're doing predictions here in a minute, but it's too hard to assume that one because both are very talented. I would love to see both of those matches, honestly, or make it a 3-way. Shit, I don't care.
So I take that. I take that back as far as where because I just Googled it. I went to DirecTV's website, and anybody who has like just a basic, their basic packages, you get Access TV, so you can watch TNA. See, I thought it wasn't ever like that. I thought Access TV was on a higher tier of a package.
I think one of their old channels that they used to be on used to be like that, and I don't remember which one.
Yeah.
But
Now
one of TNA's old channels that they used to be on was like that.
Quit being on these fucking tier things, man. It drives me insane.
I know.
It's so annoying.
I got to be honest, when it was on the TV Guide channel, at least I could see what else was on while I was watching TNA.
God damn, yeah.
That was the worst. That was the worst.
Look, Quantum Leap's on this channel. Sorry, TNA.
But that's great. That's great news.
Say Quantum Leap, Jiminy Christmas.
But that's great news for TNA and fans. Guys, let's do some predictions. And let's start it off with the NXT Great American Bash. Who wants to go first?
Give it to me, baby.
All right, Baron, you are up. First off, let's start with Jasper Troy versus Javon Evans in a singles match. Who you got?
Huh?
Okay, you got Jasper Troy taking on your boy Bouncy.
Javon Evans.
Did you say Leroy Bouncy?
Your boy.
Yeah,
Bouncy.
boy.
I thought you said Leroy.
Let's go with
I'm
Evans. I do know him. I'm just not. I'm drawing a blank on Jasper for some reason.
He just came up from that one show that is on.
The okay, yeah.
LFG?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Jasper Troy that came from LFG.
Right.
Yeah. So you have Javon Evans.
Yep.
Okay. Ethan Page versus Ricky Saints. Falls Count Anywhere match for the NXT North American Championship. Baron, who you got?
I was thinking about this earlier. It's going to be a great match. I think this is Ricky's. I think, for sure, Ricky. I'm going with Ricky on this one.
Okay. Sol Ruka versus Izzy Dame. Singles match for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Baron,
you never pull a title off of Soul unless she's going to the main roster. I think she's fucking fantastic. Great in the ring. One of the best I've seen in the ring in a long time. So I'm going with Soul on this match.
Okay. Now,
does it affect your answer knowing that Zariah and Tatum Paxley are in the corner? So Zariah's with Soul and Tatum is with Izzy.
The only way I see her losing if she's getting called up to the main roster. I don't see that happening yet, so I'm gonna stick with my pick here on that.
Okay.
I'm gonna probably regret that one though.
Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe versus Fatal Influence, a tag team match. What do you got?
Blake and Jordan Grace, easy. This is Blake's first match, right?
Believe so. Yes, I believe in as far as I think in a pay-per-view or a PLE event, I think it is Blake's first match.
I can't remember if she's had a match on the NXT. I don't think she has.
I'm not sure if she has or not, but
yeah, I'm gonna go with Grace and Blake on this one. I'm gonna say that's easy win there.
And finally, Obafemi versus Yoshiki Inamura with Josh Briggs. Singles match for the NXT Championship.
Fuck. That's hard because I really think Oba's gone. I think he's leaving NXT.
Really?
I really do.
But do you see them putting on Yoshiki?
Yeah.
No, I don't at all. But I feel like this is one of those sleeper matches that happens at.
I don't. I'll give you an early prediction. I don't see Obafemi dropping to Yoshiki. I think that Obafemi and Jasper Troy, if anybody drops, if he drops it to anybody because they had like a little bit of a feud, I think Jasper Troy would get that title. But that's my prediction. That'll go later. Baron?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with. Let's go with Oba.
Okay. All right. J-Bone, let's go with you.
Okay.
And we started off with Jasper Troy versus Javon Evans in a singles match. Who you got?
Jasper Troy all day.
Okay. Yeah. Ethan Page versus Ricky Saints. Falls Count Anywhere match for the NXT North American Championship. Ethan Page is current champ. Who you got?
I love Ricky Saints, but Page is hanging on to this.
Okay. Ruka versus Izzy Dame. Now, Soul again is with Zarya, and Izzy Dame is with Tatum Paxley, and this is for the NXT Women's North American Championship.
Wait, who is champ right now?
Sol Ruka.
Oh, Sol Ruka's. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, she's hanging on to it.
Okay. Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe versus Fatal Influence in a tag team match.
God. I'm gonna go with. Yeah, I know, Oreo. I know.
Hurry up, or you're getting May Young and Fabulous Moolah.
Shut up! It's Goldberg. No, it's Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe, but I think they're getting the win Saturday because Sunday then JC Jane will keep the title. So,
okay. All right. Finally, Obafemi versus Yoshiki Inamura with Josh Briggs for the NXT Championship. Give him.
Obafemi.
Okay. Max, let's go with you now. Jasper Troy versus Javon Evans in a singles match. Max?
I'm going with your boy Bouncy, Javon Evans.
Okay.
Leroy Bouncy.
Let's go with Ethan Page versus Ricky Saints. Falls Count Anywhere match for the NXT North American Championship.
I'm not gonna lie, this one is tough. I mean, I am a huge fan of All Over Ego, but I really think that Ricky is getting the nod on this one.
Okay. Sol Ruca with Zarya versus Izzy Dame with Tatum Paxley. Singles match for the NXT Women's North American Championship.
Listen, I'm a huge fan of Tatum Paxley. She's psychotic. She's way up here on the hot crazy meter. But she's not the one wrestling in this match, so I'm going with Sol retains.
Okay. Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe versus Fatal Influence tag team match.
I like JC Jane, don't get me wrong, but come on. You think JC Jane can defeat Jordan Grace? Nope.
And for the NXT Championship, Oba Femi versus Yoshiki Inamura.
I agree with Baron. I think that Oba's about to drop this title and move on to the main roster. The problem is, as much fun as it's been watching Yoshiki interact with people backstage, I don't think Yoshiki's the guy. Maybe he will be somewhere down the road, but I just don't think he's the guy right now. And for that reason, I'm thinking Oba retains this weekend.
Okay. Yeah. For me, Jasper Troy versus Javon Evans. I'm kind of over on Jasper Troy. I like that guy. So I'm going to go with Jasper Troy on that. Ethan Page versus Ricky Saints Falls Count Anywhere match for the NXT North American Championship. Man, I think they're going to give the nod to Ricky Saints. I really do. I think he'll get that. I think he'll bring back his championship. Sol Ruca with Zarya versus Izzy Dame for the Women's North American Championship. If Sol Ruca drops, I will be very, very surprised, but I'm going with Sol Ruca to retain. Jordan Grace with Blake Monroe versus Fatal Influence tag team match. I'm going to go with Blake Monroe and Jordan Grace on that one all day. And for the NXT Championship match between Oba Femi and Yoshiki Inamura. That would be stupid if they put the title on Yoshiki and Oba Femi goes off into the main roster. Is he going? Yeah, probably. Is he going now? No, he's not. I really do think there's going to come a time where we'll see Oba Femi versus Jasper Troy in a main event. But I think Oba Femi's going to retain and carry that title on to drop it eventually to somebody. I don't know who, but I think Jasper Troy will face Oba Femi at one time, but I don't think Jasper Troy will win as of right now. Let's move on to...
I want to do one side note for the Great American Bash, just to remind people. It's not a match, but the TNA World Championship contract signing is going to take place between Trick Williams, Joe Hendry, and Mike Santana. So
okay, gotcha.
Just to remind people of that.
Okay. Saturday night's main event on the 12th. That is Super Saturday from Atlanta, Georgia at the State Farm Arena, live on NBC and on Peacock. And let's go with the Baron. Start with you. And we'll start with Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. There's only 3 matches on this card.
Yeah.
As of now.
Dude, Randy Orton's he's going to go ballistic here. I'm going Randy Orton.
Yeah. LA Knight versus Seth Rollins in a singles match.
Dude, I don't know how you could ever pick against Seth Rollins, currently, right? So I'm going to go with Seth.
Yeah, I know. It's hard. And finally, Gunther, current champion, versus Goldberg for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Sir, that's not an option.
Put it down. I don't give a shit. No, Gunther, put it down.
I don't know. A couple PLEs ago, he gave his answer is who gives a shit for a match. So
I'm picking Gunther, but let's put a slash and asterisk. Who gives a fuck?
He just upgraded from who gives a fuck to raspberry. J-Bone,
I have noted your objection.
J-Bone, let's go with you. Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre in a singles match. J-Bone, who you got?
Oh boy. We're gonna go with Orton.
Okay. LA Knight versus Seth Rollins in a singles match.
I'm gonna go LA Knight here, and it's one of those things. It's Seth Rollins can take a loss here and there. It doesn't matter because he still has the briefcase. It's not like this is for the briefcase, so he's still on a different level, even if he does lose. I want to just remind you guys that WrestleMania that he faced Orton in, the one that he cashed in on Brock and Roman. Remember that match against Randy Orton? He lost in that match. And then later that night, cashed in as the champ. So I'm just saying that's a perfect example of why he could lose here. So,
and finally, Gunther versus Goldberg in a World Heavyweight Championship match.
You guys could fire me off the podcast. I don't care. I'm going with Goldberg.
Boot this motherfucker out of here. Get him out of here. Get him out.
Max, it's your turn. Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre in a singles match.
Oh, obviously, I'm going with the soon-to-be heel Orton.
Okay. LA Knight versus Seth Rollins.
While I agree with one thing Grandpa said tonight, that Seth can afford to take a loss every now and then, I don't see it being in this match. I see Seth beating LA Knight.
Okay. And Gunther versus Goldberg for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Choose wisely, Max.
Do you even have to ask who I picked?
I know who you're going to pick.
I mean, obviously, I am picking the ring head out of it.
Yeah.
He's picking Flash Funk.
For me, Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. Yeah, I'm going to go with heel Randy, honestly. LA Knight versus Seth Rollins. We're going with Seth Rollins because he's super over right now. Gunther, yeah, he's going to retain versus Goldberg. He's going to just embarrass the shit out of him. And we move on to Evolution, the all-women's professional wrestling PLE coming up on Sunday, I believe. Baron, let's start with you. Becky Lynch versus Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria, triple threat match for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship.
I'm going to get this wrong, but I just want to do it. I'm going fucking Bayley.
All right.
Doesn't make any sense, but I'm going Bayley.
Okay. Jade Cargill versus Naomi in a no-holds-bar match.
I'm going with Jade Cargill here on this match. No. I'm going Naomi on this match. Naomi, due to interference from
yeah, that one with the hair. God, I can't. It's on the tip of my tongue. Bianca Belair.
There you go.
Yeah. Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus, singles match for the WWE Women's Championship.
It's gonna be heater. I love that for Trish and Tiff. Trish has to put Tiff over, so I'm going Tiff.
Okay. I don't have the participants for the Battle Royal.
That's okay.
I have some.
It's gonna be on pre-show, anyways, right? It's not gonna be on the main
according to this, it looks like it's on the main card, but I have some of them. So this is what has been announced. Ivy Nile, Stephanie Vaquer, Nia Jax, Nikki Bella, Natalia, Maxine Dupree, Kehlani Jordan, Jada Parker, Lola Vice, Lash Legend, Izzy Dame, Tatum Paxley, Zelina Vega, and Julia. I would expect some surprises to be in there because I don't think we have the full SmackDown list at this time. And I would expect some possible surprise appearances like maybe Lita or maybe Paige, something like that.
Is this for anything? Does winner get anything?
Yes, World Championship match at Clash in Paris.
Yes.
Stephanie Vaquer.
Okay.
But can we keep this one off though as a record? Since we don't have a full list and since it's battle royal, I think it should be like a bonus point.
I'll go with that. I think a
bonus point will work.
Yeah,
That's a hard. That's
yeah.
Battle Royals or
Yeah.
Royal Rumbles. We should not have.
The
That
odds-
should not
the odds
interfere
are-
into our record.
Since we don't know all the participants, yeah.
I mean, technically, if we treat it as a bonus point and we get it right, that adds a point, just like if it was part of the thing in the first place. Because if you don't get it right, you're not getting a point. I mean, I'm fine either way. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but it shaves off your record. Let's say if I get another match wrong earlier tonight, this one will cover it if I do get it right because it's a bonus point. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Because then we would all be -1 during this because we've all chose someone that didn't win. Too many people in this match.
Right.
Stephanie. I'm going with Stephanie.
Okay. The Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, who are the champions, versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus Sol Ruka and Zarya versus the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, in a fatal 4-way tag team match for the Women's Tag Team Championship.
Dude, I will never bet against Charlotte Flair.
Okay. Okay. So Charlotte Flair.
Wait. I want to clarify something. You say you'll never bet against Charlotte Flair. What if she's facing Liv Morgan?
Charlotte Flair fucking never loses, and I always I would pick Liv, and then I would get my pick wrong, and then I'd have to fucking hear about it. So I'm going Charlotte Flair for this match, and I'm probably going to get this wrong, actually. But because I think Roxanne right now is the hottest out of that match. Like, I think she's placed herself in a very good position in the company.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship.
Oh, man. I think we're all going to get this wrong. I'm going Rhea.
Okay. All right.
No, I don't think I'm going to be right on that. And I think, yeah, I'm going Rhea.
No, you know what? I'm gonna tell you why you're right on that one, or at least why I think you're correct, Baron, is because they have brought up on several occasions over the course of this. Well, you can call it a feud. It's more of a friendly one-on-one bet. Because she gets to pick her opponent, and Rhea Ripley is just gladly accepting. So it's a mutual respect, but they have said over and over again and shown the matches, especially last night on Raw, Rhea Ripley has never beaten Sky.
Yeah.
So guess what? It's time.
Okay. JC Jane with Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix versus Jordan Grace for the NXT Women's Championship. Baron, who you got?
I'm so confused. What happened here? So
it's JC Jane versus Jordan Grace.
Yeah. But she's coming out with Fallon Henley and Jasmine.
Yeah. And Jordan Grace has a just non-title match, right?
It's for the.
No. I'm saying the night prior too.
No. So Great American Bash is a tag match.
Yeah.
Right.
Jordan and Blake versus Fatal Influence.
Yeah. No title on the line on that night. So, yeah, Jordan Grace wins.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to J-Bone very quickly here. Becky Lynch versus Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria. Triple threat match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship.
I'm going with Bayley.
Okay. No holds barred match between Jade Cargill and Naomi. Who you got?
Oh, Naomi.
Okay. Singles match for the WWE Women's Championship between Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus.
Oh, it's Tiffy time.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. The Battle Royal, Max, can you go over the participants again just one more time, please?
I got you.
Thank you.
We have Ivy Niles, Stephanie Vaquer, Nia Jax, Nikki Bella, Natalia, Maxine Dupree, Kehlani Jordan, Jada Parker, Lola Vice, Lash Legend, Izzy Dame, Tatum Paxley, Zelina Vega, Julia, and whoever else they have show up.
You don't know who you got. Whoever else shows up.
I'm going with Mama Benjamin. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
I'm kidding. Shit. What did you say, Baron? You said Stephanie Vaquer?
Yeah.
That's a, you know what?
I think that's out of all of them.
I think that's a damn good guess.
I think that's a safe guess.
not to be a copycat, but
God damn, you've actually stolen all my picks last year, JMO. Copycat.
Not all of them.
Judgment Day. Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus Sol Ruka and Zarya versus the Kabuki Warriors. Asuka and Kairi Sane in a fatal four-way tag team match for the women's tag team championship. J-Bone.
It's Judgment Day all day. I mean, this is Roxanne's first defense as part of the team. She can't lose here. If she loses here, then it just looks stupid.
Yeah,
Max, change my pick, please. You haven't watched that. No, like I thought about it, and then I just realized like how stupid it really is.
No,
because like I said, Roxanne is going she's hot right now, like big time. So please change my pick, Max, please.
She is, but you know what? The story is going to continue with the distress in the in the clubhouse, whether they're champs or not. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, it all has to fold together with Liv Morgan when she returns with Roxanne still holding the title. And Dom. So
Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Io Sky is champ, by the way.
Right. We're going Rhea Ripley.
Okay.
Mommy's winning.
JC Jane versus Jordan Grace for the NXT World Women's Championship.
Oh man, I'm kicking myself for picking this. No, you know what? I'm gonna go with Jordan Grace. I'm gonna go with what I think would, as a TNA fan, what I want to see at Slammiversary. I think Jordan Grace is gonna face Masha. I think, and because man, those two. Well, that's how Masha won her title in the first place. Is she beat Jordan and then Jordan left. Yeah. So, but I part of me does want to see JC Jane win just because I do like her as champ. I am very happy that she is champ, but I gotta go with who I've been a super fan of for years. So yeah, I'm going Jordan Grace.
All right, Max, Becky Lynch versus Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship.
So this one was kind of a tough one, but I already have all mine typed up. I was typing them up as Baron was doing his. I went with Bayley for a reason, and it's because of these three women, she has the strongest complaint about not being the champion. She was taken out at WrestleMania, or before WrestleMania, where she might have won the tag titles. Then Lyra interrupted her match with Becky on Raw, where she might have won this title. I think they're putting Bayley over for this.
Okay. Jade Cargill versus Naomi in a no-holds-barred match. Max, who you got?
I put Naomi, and it's because she holds the briefcase, and you've really got to put her over strong right now, which I guess you could look at that from the flip side and say Jade Cargill has the match at SummerSlam, so you should put her over strong. So there is a good chance that this match ends as a Broadway. There's no holds barred, so you have to find a way to have a screw job finish. But I would say it's possible.
Okay.
But I'm going Naomi officially.
Right on. Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus for the WWE Women's Championship.
Listen, I love me some Stratusfaction. Do not get me wrong. But there is no way that I see them putting the belt back on her right now. I see it being Tiffy time still.
Okay. The Battle Royal for the chance to go to Clash in Paris?
While there is a chance that there is a better contender not announced yet, I think really looking over the list of people in this match, the two most likely contenders, in my opinion, would have to be Stephanie Vaquer or Julia. And while I do like some Julia work, honestly, I think the way they have been pushing Stephanie Vaquer with the promos, the vignettes, everything that they have done, I think Stephanie Vaquer is the one that's going to go over in this.
Okay.
Ooh, that's 3. Wow. Okay.
Judgment Day. Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus Sol Ruca and Zarya versus the Kabuki Warriors for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Max, who you got?
All right. First off, before I make my pick on this, I want to say that as much as I love the Kabuki Warriors, and I think they're an amazing tag team, you just put out shirts for the Dungeon Dolls. You started to hype them up, and did you put them in as the Raw team? No. You put them in the Battle Royal. So in my opinion, you're wasting your promotional time by making the shirts and then not pulling the trigger on them. They should be here in the place of Asuka and Kairi.
Ooh.
That being said, the storyline that makes the most sense, looking at these four, is Raquel and Roxanne retaining the title so that when Liv comes back, she goes, "What the hell are you doing stealing my whole life?"
Yeah. That makes sense. Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship.
So far, this is the one that's the unpopular opinion based on the picks that have already been made. And here's why I picked this. I believe that at SummerSlam, we are going to see the match that should have been happening at SummerSlam due to a win in the Queen of the Ring finals. I think at SummerSlam, we are getting Io Sky as the Women's World Champion versus her former teammate, Asuka. Therefore, Io has to retain for that to happen. I've got Io winning this match.
Okay, and JC Jane versus Jordan Grace for the NXT Women's Championship. Yeah.
I think you all knew that was coming.
I figured that was coming. For me, Becky Lynch versus Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria in the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. I just don't know if Becky's going to drop yet. I think it's going to come down to the point where we're going to get Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria in a match that settles who can challenge Becky for that title, and I think we're going to get it at SummerSlam. And so with that, I'm going to go with Becky Lynch. No holds barred match between Jade Cargill and Naomi. I don't know. I guess Naomi. I'm not really invested in this match. I don't really care, so I'll just go Naomi. For the women's championship match between Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. Oh, it's totally Tiffy time. Why would they put a belt on Trish Stratus?
Why would they put a belt on Goldberg?
Well,
neither two are happening this weekend, fellas.
None of them. No.
I tell you, it's cool just because a lot of times Tiffany Stratton gets compared to the classic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, brain fart.
Yeah.
Who's she facing?
Trish Stratus.
Stratus, thank you.
Jesus fucking crap.
Let's wrap this up. For the Battle Royal, yeah, I'm gonna side with my best friend. I'm gonna side with the Baron, and I'm gonna go with Stephanie Vaquer to win. If it's not Julia, it's gonna be Stephanie Vaquer. For the Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus Charlotte Flair versus and Alexa Bliss versus Sol Ruca and Zarya versus the Kabuki Warriors for the Women's Tag Team Championship. This is going to go to the Judgment Day. And it's exactly what Max had just said, because they're going to continue this feud between Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan when she comes back and she's healed. So down the line, we're going to see Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan. I don't know when it'll be, but I say Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne retain. For the Women's World Championship, Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. This is a hard one. As much as I don't want to see Io Sky drop, I have to remember how long she's had that title, and I think it's been for a while. And Rhea Ripley has been gunning for that women's world championship. So I'm going with Rhea. I think Rhea is going to win this one. And finally, JC Jane versus Jordan Grace for the NXT Women's Championship. If Jordan Grace doesn't win this, I will be freaking shocked. But I'm going with Jordan Grace as my pick.
Oh.
I don't know what direction you go with her if she doesn't win this.
Well, exactly. I mean, like,
Yeah.
why did
Move
you
her to the
bring
main
her up?
roster.
Why did you? Well, I mean, you can move her up to the main roster, but is she ready?
She wouldn't know. She would fucking get demolished and lost in the sauce on the main roster. I'm sorry. I love Jordan Grace. She's phenomenal in the ring, but she is not main roster material.
Not yet. Not
Not
yet.
yet. No, absolutely. I'm not saying she never will be, but she is
think,
not.
And I can say the same thing about Joe Hendry too. I don't think he's main roster ready yet. He's close.
Ooh.
He's close.
Whoa, Dizzy.
Close.
You're on my side on that one. I like it.
But I don't think he's main roster ready
not even close
right now. He's still got some developmental stages that he needs to go through, just like Jordan Grace. But that'll happen. I see him on the main roster.
So, two things real quick. Io Sky has held that title for 125 days.
Yeah, it's time for her to drop it.
She won the title on March 3rd of this year.
That was right before Mania. Yeah.
Second, and you guys can blame Mir for this because I like him more than I like some of you. No points involved. This is not a bonus point question. This is just for fun. Who do you see as a surprise entrant in the Women's Battle Royal?
You know, I'm gonna go with Mickie James. I'm going with that because we just saw her on LFG. She looks like she's in pretty good shape to get back into the ring, so I'm going to go with her. Baron, who do you think?
Nikki Bella's not in this match, right?
Yes,
She is.
She is. Okay, I missed that then. I'm just gonna be fucking stupid and say Bremo. No.
Oh man!
No.
Hold on.
No, you can pick
Real
it.
quick.
It's just I hate this. I hate the entrance music. It's
I
like
do too.
Before we bash that idea or get away from that idea, there are rumors that Nikki has been working to bring Brie back and that Brie is interested. This could be a good time for her to make her return. It is not a bad pick whatsoever.
No, I'm just gonna go with this pick because it's outlandish, but it's something that we as fans want, and it should happen because it would be awesome for one-time appearance, and this would be the show to do it. AJ Lee.
Oh yeah, that would be good. That would be good.
It's not happening, but
no. J-Bone, who do you think?
all right. So I was gonna pick AJ Lee, but because the Vault actually put up a classic match between AJ Lee and Paige, and I'm like, why would they do that? That's kind of that might be a little hintsky.
mm-hmm.
I'm going to go on the Paige side. I'm going to say Paige.
Yeah,
Man,
I totally forgot about Paige.
Max.
There's a reason that is not a bad guess, not because they put that video up, but apparently Paige tweeted out sometime last week, wait, is Evolution this weekend?
Oh yeah.
Well, to be fair, everybody was wondering that same exact question.
Max, you're going to go with Paige too, huh?
Me? No. I'm actually matching with you. I was saving mine as a surprise, but I was going to go with Mickie James myself.
Why are you going with Mickie?
Because she was one of the main pushers to get this particular show in the first place.
Yeah.
She's been trying to talk companies into doing all women shows for a while.
Yeah.
On a bigger stage than what we see, because like you have Glimmer, you have these
Wow.
other smaller companies. Wow.
Mhm.
And because of that, and the fact that we have recently seen her have a tie to the WWE, tells me that there's a really good chance we're going to see her in this Battle Royal. And if we don't, maybe she's going to be one of the commentators, because it better not be Cole and any other guy if you're going to brag that it's an all women show.
Sure. Right. No, I completely agree with that. Completely agree. Well, that is it. That's our predictions. And by the way, you need to pay attention to who got the most right. We will go over them next Tuesday because we're on the road to SummerSlam, and whoever Rambler you side with as far as our predictions go, you get some free Ramblers Unleashed merchandise. And so you need to keep in your mind who you want to side with. You want me? You want the Baron? You want J-Bone? Or do you want my best friend Max? In the meantime, that's going to wrap it up. That's all we have for you tonight. So we hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Baron, how can they follow you on the socials?
You guys should know at this fucking point. It's right down here, Scumbag Jordan with 3 N's.
3 N's. And J-Bone, how can they get you, sir?
You can follow me on the old Twitter box at jbone5150. You can also catch me on Thursday nights on that other little show called Total Nonstop Impact.
Yeah.
Talking all things TNA all day.
All right. And Max Magus, sir.
Real quick, thank you, Jordan, because you remind. Sorry. Thank you, Baron. You reminded me of something. When we did the 3 N's last night on Raw, I don't know if you guys were paying attention, but Penta to Heyman and Braun Breaker told them Cero Miedo, and Heyman was like, "Man, I hate when he does that," and Braun's like, "Yeah, me too. I mean, this guy's over here talking 3 up, 3 down like baseball."
I caught that. I caught it too. It's great, but it actually irritates me because, like, and I don't want to get crazy here, but like, fucking give Penta some love, dude.
That man
needs some love. He needs
man
a lot
is
of love.
beast.
In time, he will. He's way. He and his brother are way too important right now. Look, most importantly, you just got to pray that they stay healthy because they've gone through a lot in their career.
Yeah. All right. So you can find me at Max Magus. You can find my other podcast, the nerdy one, at Our Shots Podcast. You can find us anywhere you find your podcast. Check out random-shots.net. There's actually show notes if you actually go to the website that could be kind of fun. All complaints to Deactivated Styles. Please remember to go down to the link in the bio for the merch.
Yes. Absolutely.
Which by the way, I fixed. It was like the link was like screwed up for like a month, so I just fixed all 4 shows worth plus tonight's. So you can actually click on a link now if you want.
Woohoo!
And if there's any changes to the matches before this weekend, I will reach out to the boys. They will update their picks, and we'll
put them
maybe
out.
I'll put it on Twitter or something.
There you go. We'll put it out on the social media, which, by the way, you can follow the show on X at The Ramblers Pod. Find us on Facebook at Ramblers Unleashed, and make sure you hit the subscribe button here on YouTube.com and hit the like button that tells YouTube that you like what we're doing and that recommends our video to more folks. And in the meantime, please enjoy the Great American Bash. Please enjoy Evolution and enjoy Saturday night's main event. And on Tuesday, we will be back here to talk about all of it and enjoy professional wrestling. We will see you. Yes, sir.
Can I throw in another guess just for shits and giggles for the Battle Royal?
Well, Max, pull up the notes again.
No, you don't have to read them. I'm just guessing a name.
Well, they gotta go. Well, they gotta go down on the notes. So
go ahead,
real quick.
The former Iconics, currently inspiration of TNA.
And that is a possibility since they are with a company that is currently working with the WWE.
Yep.
But by that token, you could have by Elegance there too.
Yeah.
And Mae Young may show up.
Hey.
But let's end the show.
Yeah. Mae Young and whoever else. Molly Holly. God. All right, let's
Ooh, Molly.
Santina Morella. How about that?
All right, let's go. All right. We'll talk to you guys on Tuesday. Bye.
Love y'all.
Tonight on Ramblers Unleashed.
Oh, that's not what I need. Damn it. You threw me off. J-Bone, damn it. There we go. That's what I need. There
Thanks
we go.
for tuning in to Ramblers Unleashed. Follow the show on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click the bell icon for notifications of upcoming episodes.
Maybe